We are here with Echo Yugioh content creator and a YouTuber, trying to figure out if Magic the Gathering cards are good or bad. We are going to switch it up a little bit today because it's another episode of Banned or Broken. I'm going to give you 5 cards that are good, and you're going to tell me if they've crossed the line to be banned or if they're just broken and not banned.
Okay.
I do want to start off and ask you, how much Magic knowledge do you actually have?
Dude, absolutely none. I have never touched this card game ever in my life.
That is exactly what I'm looking for, okay? Exactly what I'm looking for. For you folks
Oh
watching,
no.
for you folks watching at home, I did give a brief summary on some of the mechanics, the things that are necessary, because I don't want this video to last like an hour. But let's go ahead and get into the first card. Are you ready to see if this first card is banned or broken?
Dude, I'm ready to go 0 for 5. I'm excited.
All right. I'm going to give you 1 white card, 1 blue card, 1 black card, 1 red card, and 1 green card. Starting with white, let's go ahead and get started.
White card, here we go. What is this card? This card looks ominous. Farewell costs 4 generic and 2 dark mana.
That's 2 white mana.
2 white mana and then 4 generic. Sorcery, choose 1 or more. Exile all artifacts, exile all creatures, exile all enchantments, exile all graveyards. And is it exile everything on the field or your opponent controls?
On the field. It's just creatures on the field, including yours.
So is this card broken or is it banned? That is a tough question. What is that emblem right there next to the sorcery? Is that like the set it came from?
Yeah,
or?
that's the set symbol.
Okay, so there's not much to deduce here aside from the fact that it requires a lot of mana. I think I could be wrong, but
You're right. Six is quite a bit of mana.
now is this a card you play more than one of in your deck? Can you play more than one?
You can play up to 4 cards of any 1 card in your deck.
Okay, unless it says legendary, right?
Legendary, you can play 4. You can play up to 4 in your deck, but you can only have 1 legendary card on the field at once. Not 1 legendary card on the field. 1 legendary card on the field with the same name.
Okay, and then so this is a sorcery, which means in Yu-Gi-Oh terms, it's a spell card, right? Like
it is a normal spell
speed. Okay, man, this is really tough because I want to say this card is not good. Like, it's broken, but it's not banned, but just because it requires like a certain amount of mana. Now, if you're showing me this card and then you say, oh, it requires like 2 generic or something, I'd say this card is banned. But I'm just gonna go with my gut and say this card is broken, but it's not on the ban list. That's like my reasonable answer.
because it's a little bit too expensive. 6 mana.
Yeah, I like, guys. I know nothing about this like card game, but when I see 4 and then I see 2 in the back, 2 dark. Is it dark or white? White mana.
2 white, yeah.
2 white. I think that's too much. That's too much cost, I guess, to use for a card. So I'm gonna say this card is broken, but it's not banned. That is my final answer, James.
You are correct, Echo. This card is really good, but it is not banned.
Okay. So, do you play 4 of this card, or?
In my deck that I play in standard right now, I play 1 in the main deck.
Okay. And this is like a generic spell you use?
It is a spell I use because I play a control deck right now.
Okay.
And I'm playing this card because sometimes you just need to get rid of your opponent's stuff, you know? Sometimes you gotta say no.
Do you make a deck around this card to where you don't play like continuous cards like artifacts and enchantments and stuff?
Right. You would, and you get to choose 1 or more. So if you have an artifact that you want to keep on your board, you don't have to call artifacts. You can just say, I want to exile just the creatures and enchantments and graveyards, and that's it.
Oh, I totally overlooked that part. I thought it was just say choose 1.
Choose one or more. You can choose like any number of these.
Oh, I would have said it was banned if I didn't. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So
I need
it's
to show you.
broken,
I
but
need
it's
to tell
not
you the
banned.
most prominent, best advice I can give you in Magic the Gathering. Are you ready?
Mhm. Yeah.
Reading the card explains the card.
Oh, so it's not like Yu-Gi-Oh, where there's like 5 million rulings outside the card,
I mean, there
and
are
then
there are some stuff in Magic that will blow your mind. Like, do you know what entering the dungeon means? No, you have no shot of knowing what entering the dungeon means. But
no,
that's an actual mechanic in Magic. You'll have no idea. You know what cloak
entering the
means?
dungeon.
There's like a whole bunch of different things in Magic that like reading the card doesn't explain the card. But like
Yeah.
when it says choose one or more, it just means choose one or more of those options.
Yeah. Okay. Well, see, the thing is, what I do like about Magic is the card doesn't have too many words on it. I'm used to Yu-Gi-Oh having so like a whole paragraph, dude.
Trust me, there are Magic cards with paragraphs. Don't get me wrong. This is just I'm easing you into it.
Okay, hopefully I don't see.
And it's
I
funny
don't
that
see
you said that because you just wait till the last card I show you.
Oh no,
Okay.
guys, I'm kind of bad at reading,
All right, let's go ahead
as
and
you can tell.
go on to the blue card. This has more
Blue
words in
card.
it.
Okay. Oh no, I'm scared. Alrund's Epiphany requires 5 generic and 2 water mana. It's a sorcery card. Create 2 1/1 bluebird creature tokens with flying. Take an extra turn after this one. Exile Alrund's Epiphany. It has a foretell, which requires 4 generic and 2 water. During your turn, you may um, pay 2 mana, 2 generic mana,
Yeah.
and exile this card from your hand face down. Cast it on a later turn for its foretell cost. So this card creates creatures with flying. I don't know what that means.
Flying is unblockable unless your opponent's creature has flying also or reach.
So it's unblockable by
Non-flying,
opponent's...
non-reach creatures.
Oh, so they literally can't hit it.
They can't block it when you attack, yeah.
Okay. And then take an extra turn after this one. Damn, that by itself just sounds broken. I don't know what that means. Like in Yu-Gi-Oh terms, I'm gonna draw an extra card and enter the battle phase twice. That's what it sounds like to me. Take an extra turn after this one, and then you exile the card. So basically you banish it, right?
Yeah, right.
And then you can use 6 mana, so 4 of which are generic and 2 are water, to basically banish this card face down.
Yeah. No. You pay 2 generic and banish it face down. And then on a later turn, you can pay 4 and double blue to cast this out of exile.
Oh, so you basically played again for 1 less mana,
right,
when you played it first.
Right.
Dude, this...
No, you can't play it again.
Broken.
You can't play it again. What happens with foretell is you pay 2 if it's in your hand, okay?
Yeah.
And I have Alrund's Epiphany in my hand. You can pay 2 generic mana and then exile it from your hand. It doesn't do anything when you exile from your hand. It just gets exiled. Face down.
Oh, so that's its separate effect. It doesn't have to be in play to...
No. You exile it from your hand face down, and then like later on, instead of paying 7 mana for this, as you see on the top right, you get to pay 6 mana for it.
But this doesn't make any sense because at the end you pay more than what you would play.
Right. Basically, you have to take one of your turns off. Like you have to take turn 2 off, or whatever turn. You have to pay 2 mana up front, but then you get like a 1 mana discount later on in the game.
Oh, keyword later on in the game?
Yeah, like whenever
like
you want to cast it out of exile, you can just cast it on it says that last sentence there, cast it on a later turn for its foretell cost. You just, at whatever other turn you want, you can cast it out of exile for 6 mana instead of 7, if you foretell it.
Ooh. If it says cast it next turn, I would be like, this card is not banned.
I mean, you could cast it next turn. You could cast it next turn. Honestly, you could cast it next turn if you have 6 mana, but you need 6 mana to do that.
But I feel like if it was written as that, it wouldn't be as broken as cast it on a later turn, which can be like any other turn in the game.
Right, unless it's, except for your opponent's turn, obviously, because this card is a normal spell. Sorcery.
This is so hard. I feel like this card is banned, but at the same time, Yeah. At the same time, I feel like the cost is a little too much.
For what
I
it's worth.
think this card is banned
Okay, just a little bit of a
because
rules clarification, especially for people that are watching. These,
okay.
if it's banned, it means if it was banned at any point in the history of Magic, in any format, just at all,
Oh,
was it ever banned
so
in any
not
format?
currently banned.
It doesn't have to be currently banned. It was it ever banned?
Was this card ever
Was it ever
banned?
banned from any
I
format?
think
Yeah.
this card. You know what? I'm just gonna take a shot in the dark and say this card was banned, just because I feel like there's like a weird loop you can make with like exile cards to like I don't know generate mana somehow, and this card could be played for free. I guess. I know I'm reading too far into this because I have no knowledge of this card game, but I feel like at some point this card was probably banned.
Okay.
That is my final answer.
Taking extra turns is broken. Is really really good. Okay. 7 mana is a
Mm.
lot of mana, but you
Oof.
are correct. This card was banned in standard.
Let's go. Wait. So was my reasoning correct of like I don't know finding a degenerate like loop or something?
Not necessarily degenerate loop because this gets exiled. It doesn't actually like go back in your deck or anything. There is an extra
Okay.
turn spell that goes back into your deck, Nexus of Fate, and that card's probably like the second or third best extra turn spell of all time. There's a bunch of extra
Mm-hmm.
turn spells. Some are better than others. This is one of the good ones. This is a very very good card and was banned in standard, and it was very oppressive while it was in standard. So good job on that
Okay.
one. It was banned.
Thank you. Wait. So was this card? Is this card not banned anymore?
This card rotated out of standard,
Oh.
and it is not
So
banned
okay.
in other formats.
How do you say this? Phyrexian
Oh, close. Phyrexian.
Obliterator. Phyrexian Obliterator requires 4 black mana or dark mana, I
Black
guess.
mana.
It's a creature. Um, Phyrexian horror. I don't know what that means. Is that
That's the
like
creature
the
type. That's like
like
the
a archetype?
archetype almost, but not really.
Okay. Trample. Um, whenever a source deals damage to Phyrexian Obliterator, that source's controller sacrifices that many permanents? Oh. So a permanent is like the artifacts?
Anything that's on the board: artifacts, enchantments, planeswalkers, lands, battles, creatures.
So whenever your opponent deals damage to this thing, they have to send a face-up card on the field to the graveyard.
For how many damage they did to it. So if you deal 5 damage to this, like say this attacks you, and then I choose
Mhm.
if it attacks me and I choose to block with a 5 power creature to like have the 5 power go into like their 5 toughness, right? I
Mhm.
would deal 5 damage to this obliterator, and that counts as a source dealing damage to it. So I would have to then sacrifice 5 permanents.
Um, that is broken. What? And it only requires 4?
4 black mana, all black, no generic.
But it has to be exactly black mana. I'm not sure how prevalent that is in Magic. Dude, my gut says this card is super banned. Just because you can get 4 mana like really easily. I'm not sure like about the actual type of the mana, but the fact that if you want to kill this thing, you have to send 5 other face up things.
If you deal 5 damage to this to kill it with like a deal
Yeah.
5 damage spell or whatever, you would have to sacrifice 5 permanents. If you deal 7 damage to this, you have to sacrifice 7 permanents. If you block this with like a 1 toughness creature or like a 1 power creature or whatever, you have to sacrifice 1 permanent since you're doing 1 damage to it. If you there are also kill spells that don't do damage. It's like kill target creature, which wouldn't do damage. But if you deal damage to this in any way, you have to sacrifice that many permanents.
Mm. Let's say you have a creature that can destroy that thing, right? But you don't have any other face up permanents, I guess. I feel like this card is
Well,
not.
well, you would always have permanents, right? Since you have to play lands to cast your spells, you would just have to sacrifice your lands.
Oh, which is really bad, I think,
It's very
because
bad,
you need
yes.
mana. But you told me you can also use like I guess spells to destroy that
Right.
monster
Like
without
there's
dealing
a card that's
damage.
prevalent in standard right now called Go for the Throat. It is a 1 and a black one generic, one black mana, instant speed spell, which is like a quick play spell in Yu-Gi-Oh! That just says destroy target non-artifact creature. And there are some of those. There's like it's like half and half. Like some spells like kill a creature outright, but there's other spells that like deal damage. Like Lava Coil would deal like 4 damage, or I shouldn't say Lava Coil. I should say like Witch Stalker Frenzy. It says deal 5 damage to a creature, right? So you could use that to kill the Obliterator, but you wouldn't really want to, since you have to sacrifice 5 permanents. And you need lands to catch your spells, and then you would basically lose the game if you did that.
This is really tough because I feel like from a non-Magic the Gathering player perspective, I feel like this card is broken, but the idea that you said there are spells, or I guess sorcery, that destroy this card, and they're, I guess, kind of common. I feel like this card is not banned. Just because there are removal spells that can get this off the board without you having to attack it.
Final answer.
Oh my god, I'm scared. You know what? I'm going for it. I think this card is not banned. I think this card is broken, but it's not banned.
You are correct. This card's not banned.
Yes,
this card has never been banned.
I swear, I've never played this game in my life, dude. Look at this. I got the Pokemon hat. You know, I'm a Yu-Gi-Oh player.
Nice.
I've never seen Magic in my life, man. 3 for 3. Let's go. 3 for 3, guys.
3 for 3. All right. Wow, you're on a roll.
Let's go.
Nice. Phyrexian Obliterator is a card that people love, because if you ever like, there are also like cards like there are fight spells that says like my creature fights your creature, and it would make their creature deal damage to you. So you can like force them to deal damage and then make them sacrifice their stuff.
Oh, I didn't know. Like, one either way.
Like those exist, and people try to play like a green-black deck to play this card and then make Obliterator fight their creature to make them sacrifice all their stuff. I've won a game like that before, and it is very satisfying. But it is not that good of a thing to be doing. So yeah, this card is not banned. Moving on to the next card, and this is kind of a two-parter.
Oh, a two-parter. Oh no. What the heck is this?
This is your red card
like that in my life. Fable of the Mirror Breaker. 2 generic and 1 fire. Is the first line just like the lore of the card?
The first line here is like the rules text of it. So this is called a saga. It's an enchantment that stays on your board, kind of like a continuous spell. But as this enters the battlefield, and after your draw step, you put a lore counter on it. You see those 1, 2, and 3 on the left side? Those are lore counters.
Okay.
So you go to the first one, and then on your next turn, after you draw a card, you put the next one on there, and then do what it says. And then on the next turn after that, you draw a card, and then do what it says. Like after your draw for turn, you do what it says. So turn by turn by turn, it does the next thing.
So it's after you draw step, not after every time you draw.
Right. It's after your draw step.
Are there cards in Magic that make you draw, not in your draw step?
There are, but this wouldn't trigger this. It's only after you draw, after your draw step, like your actual draw step.
Okay. So for the first counter, I guess, create a 2 attack, 2 toughness, red goblin shaman, creature token with whenever this creature attacks, create a treasure token. Also, so there's more tokens.
Okay, I need to explain what a treasure token is.
Okay.
A treasure token is an artifact so it stays in your field, and you can tap it and sacrifice the token to add any color of mana to your mana pool. So it adds it's a thing you can like sacrifice to add a mana. There's tons of cards that do that, by the way. It's not like just unique to this card.
Oh, so it's okay. So it's not broken. Okay. For the second counter, you may discard up to 2 cards if you do draw that many cards. Okay. I mean, from a Yu-Gi-Oh perspective, this is whatever, right? It's like a hand neutral, discard 2, draw 2, I guess. For the third one, exile this saga, then return it to the battlefield transformed under your control. What does that even mean? Do you lose the counters if you?
That's why I said. That's why I said it's a two-parter. So
Okay,
when it
so
so on your third turn, when like after the third war counter, you exile it
yeah.
and then flip it over. There's a backside of this card.
Oh, okay.
So when it says
So I need to read
transformed, you flip it over, and it becomes this card.
Oh, dude, the art is sick.
I know.
Reflection of the Kiki Jiki?
Yes.
Is that how you say it?
Reflection of Kiki-Jiki.
Kiki Jiki. Enchantment creature, Goblin Shaman. So 1 mana tap.
Yep. You can pay 1 mana and tap this at instant speed. Besides the turn it comes into play, right? Because it has summoning sickness.
Okay. So you flip it over and then you wait another turn.
And then you can use this ability. Correct.
Okay. Create a token that's a copy of another target non-legendary creature you control. Create a copy. So it literally copies the effect?
It copies another creature you control.
Like,
it doesn't copy that effect. It copies it. You get another copy. Like if you have a Blue Eyes White Dragon, you can use this to make another Blue Eyes White Dragon.
Do you bring that Blue Eyes from your deck, or just
no? You just make a token. It's like ethereal. You just like put a token in play that's a Blue Eyes White Dragon.
Except it has haste.
Haste means it does not have summoning sickness.
Okay.
You can just attack with it immediately.
Okay, that's let me finish reading. Hold up. Like, before I come to at like any conclusions. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. Sacrifice the token?
Yes. So you make a token, but it's temporary.
And this card, hold up. So the first side of the card costs 3 mana, which is, I think, very reasonable from what I've noticed. All the other cards you showed me were like really, they required a lot of mana and they were still broken. And I feel like, although this card requires a little bit of setup, you have to wait, a total of, I guess, 5 turns for the payout?
On turn 3, you can on turn 3 you play this, you make your 2/2 Goblin Shaman. Okay. On turn 4, you draw 2 or less and discard, and you discard 2 or less cards and then draw equal to the amount of cards you discarded.
Okay.
And then on turn 5 you flip it over into Reflection of Kiki-Jiki, and then turn 6 you get to use the Reflection of Kiki-Jiki's effect.
And are the other so once you flip the card over, can you still use the effect of the card that is under? Like, let's say I want to draw 2 cards this turn while I have the other side flipped over. Can I still do that?
No. You can only do the lore effects when it says you can do them. And you cannot repeat them unless you take lore counters off of the card.
This is really hard because, well, I don't know what the speed is of Magic the Gathering, as in like the card game, but I feel like it's much slower than Yu-Gi-Oh! So I think 4 to 5 turns is reasonable enough to where you can find some degenerate way to copy like a card you control and like just kill them or something. So in a way, I feel like this card has been banned at some point, and I've never seen a card like this in my life either. Like, I've seen Magic cards in my life, and then it's like the normal, like there's an art and then there's effect, but this one is like this.
I know I'm very mean giving this to you because you've never like really played Magic before, and this side's like 2 sides and a bunch of abilities. Like
but you know what? I feel like this gives me an advantage because I feel like if they created a card that looks like this, it's got to be expensive. I know it's like a reach to make a conclusion like that, and sometimes, at least in Yu-Gi-Oh, expensive cards are really good, and they get banned at some point. So I feel like my final answer has to be this card was banned at some point.
Final answer.
Yes.
You are correct again!
Yeah, let's go, dude.
Oh my god.
Let's go.
How do we keep letting him get away with it? Wow.
Guys, I swear, I'm not lying. I've never played this card game in my life.
You're a prodigy. You're like secretly playing Magic the Gathering and you never told me.
Thanks, James. No, look, I'm a Pokemon player, man.
Oh my gosh. Speaking of Pokemon, if any of you in the audience watching this wants a Pokemon creator to get on the show, tag them in here or let me know who to ask, because I do want to do some Pokemon cards. But you are correct on Fable the Mirror Breakers / Reflection of Kiki-Jiki. It's one of the best cards. It's one of the best red cards ever printed. It's like one of the top 10 best red cards ever.
Ever?
Yeah. Top 10 to 15, but it's probably top 10, yeah.
Is it the back side of the card that's broken,
It's
or is it
both.
the front side?
It's both. Like you get the
Okay.
2/2 that makes a treasure, so it like ramps you. It like ramps you into
Yeah.
getting additional mana. It can fix your hand by discarding cards and drawing cards. And it can also copy stuff on the backside of Reflection of Kiki-Jiki. And copying it's crazy because if you get, say you get 2 copies of Reflection of Kiki-Jiki, like you drew 2 copies of Fable the Mirrorbreaker out of the 4 that you probably play in your deck.
Oh.
Reflection can copy the Reflection since Reflection is not legendary. So it can copy each other. And then you make like a bunch of copies of Reflection of Kiki-Jiki, and then you untap on your next turn and win the game. So you were correct in saying that there's like some broken copy thing that you can do with this.
Okay, this sounds very degenerate.
It's very good.
I'm happy to move on.
All right, moving on to the last card. If you are watching this right now and you want him to go 5 for 5, oh my gosh. Let me know if you are a believer or a doubter. Put believer in the chat or doubter in the chat. Please do this, okay? We need to get to the green card, and it is one of the most... Never mind, I'm not going to say it. All right.
Yeah. Don't give me any hints.
Remember when you said that, oh, you looked at Farewell and you were like, oh, this card is like not that much text.
Mm-hmm. Oh god. Back to the Yu-Gi-Oh stuff, dude. Questing Beast, 2 generic and 2 green. Legendary creature. Ooh, is that a hint? Legendary creature / or dash beast. I guess that's the archetype.
Right. The creature type.
Vigilance, Death Touch, Haste. I know haste is it doesn't have a summoning sickness.
Right. Okay, so vigilance is it does like usually when you attack with a creature, you have to tap it to attack. So you can't also block with it. Vigilance means you don't have to attack. You don't have to tap it to attack. So you can attack with it and you can also block. Like on your opponent's when your opponent attacks you. Okay. Death Touch is whatever damage this does to a creature is enough to kill it. So you don't have to so you can attack into like a 10/10 with this and it will kill it because Death Touch says that.
Really?
Yeah.
So it literally just has to inflict basically 1 damage.
Right.
Dude. Okay, let me read the full effect first. Questing Beast can't be locked by creatures with power 2 or less. What does that mean?
It can't be blocked with creatures with power 2 or less. So when you attack with Questing Beast and your opponent has like 2 creatures that have 2 power that would be able to like double block this and kill it, they can't even block.
Can you block from cards from your hand?
No. It's only creatures that you have in play.
Okay, so 2 or less. Let's say I have a creature that's like 1/1, and I literally can't block with that thing.
You cannot block it.
This thing is on the board. Okay. Combat damage that would be dealt by creatures you control cannot be prevented. Combat damage that would be dealt by creatures you control cannot be prevented. Okay, so other monsters I have, if they were to attack, they literally can't be blocked.
No, they can be blocked. This says damage can't be prevented. So that there's cards in Magic that say like prevent all damage that target creature would deal this turn, or there's cards like Fog that says prevent all combat damage that creatures would deal this turn. Like there are certain cards that say that, and this card like bypasses those effects.
Okay.
It makes all creatures
whenever
you control
Questing Beast
bypass
deals...
those. To be clear.
Okay. Oh yeah. All other, is it all other or including this?
Including this.
Oh my god, this is super broken. What the hell? Whenever Questing Beast deals combat damage to your opponent, it deals that much damage target planeswalker that player controls. What does that mean?
A planeswalker is like another version of a player that you can cast. They're still a permanent, which means they go on your battlefield and they have different abilities. And they have a certain amount of like toughness. So when you can use abilities based on the amount of toughness, and it adds like toughness and decreases toughness based on what abilities you use. And it has like different abilities, like some draw cards, some kill things, some planeswalkers like do some other effects like make tokens or whatever. But they're really, really good cards. But when Questing Beast, and usually you can attack a planeswalker to kill it, but Questing Beast says when it attacks a player, it deals that much damage, or when it deals damage to a player, it deals that much damage to a planeswalker, so you kind of get like a 2-for-1 kind of thing. Like you can attack them, and it also can kill a planeswalker. Like it kind of attacks both.
See, this creature is like super broken, but at the same time, you can only play one.
You can only have one Questing Beast in play at a time.
On the field. Okay. But you can play up to 4 in your deck.
Right.
So, is this card banned or broken? This is so hard. I really want to go 5 for 5, And I think this card is banned or has been banned just because of the mana cost this thing like has. But at the same time, this thing can be killed if you inflict what, 4 damage?
If your opponent
To
has
it?
a 4-power creature, it will be able to block this, and it will be able to kill the questing beast.
So let's say in Magic, do you prefer to go first or second?
You always go first.
You always go
Unless you're
first. Okay,
there's a
so
very, 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 very niche situation where you would want to go second, but not nearly as much as you. Like, you basically always want to go first.
okay. So let's say, a smart player would draw this, they're going first. I'm not gonna play this card, right? I'm gonna wait on my opponent to like establish their board first, and then I drop this thing. But I still feel like this card is not banned because like you can easily kind of kill this thing. Even if you're like on your like third turn, let's say your opponent drops this and then, they attack you, you can't block, and then the following turn you just like drop a sorcery and destroy this thing, or like drop a creature and just kill this thing. Oh, dude, I really want to go 5 for 5, but wait, so how many banned cards did we go through?
Oh, now you're going to metagame
Yeah.
it. We have gone over 4 cards so far. Farewell was not banned. Alrund's Epiphany
Yeah.
was banned. Okay. Phyrexian Obliterator was not banned. Fable of Mirrorbreaker was banned. And now,
Oh no.
what is Questing Beast?
So-
Because we were 2 and 2 right now.
Oh god.
I did this on purpose.
Guys, help me in the chat. Help me in the comments. See, okay. So my logic is that this card is good, but it's not good enough if you have removal spells or just creatures that kill it after. So I think my final answer is this card is broken or was broken at some point, but I don't think it got banned.
You are the 3rd person ever to go 5 for 5. Let's go!
Let's go! Let's go, dude! Guys, drop a like.
Yes,
drop
yes,
a
yes,
like.
yes.
Come on.
You gotta
insane.
like and subscribe for the 5 for 5. Okay, congratulations,
Let's
Echo
go.
Yugioh. Okay, if that's not a good enough reason to go follow Echo Yugioh if you're a Yu-Gi-Oh player, follow the YouTube channel,
it, guys.
like the videos. Okay, subscribe to Echo Yugioh because that was fantastic. Congratulations,
Let's go.
5 for 5.
Thank you, man.
All right,
I appreciate it.
Hopefully you like some of these cards that I gave you. Maybe it sparked some interest in like looking up some more Magic
that little
cards.
Kiki thing, that card looks insane. I love the art. It's crazy.
Funny thing is, I actually have a token of myself that was made for me. That was made for me by Cool Stuff Inc. It's my face in the image of the reflection of Kikijiki.
Oh
yeah, I love that card. Yeah, so
that's sick.
Anyway, if you want a chance to get that token for yourself, join the Patreon. It's going to be available for anybody that joins the Patreon. If you are available to monetarily, I would really appreciate that. It helps us get more guests on these videos, and also helps me make the best content that I can make. I currently want a little bit of a new setup, so that would contribute mightily to that. Also, if you want to be a part of the show, just like Echo Yugioh is, there's also a tier for that in the Patreon. So make sure you do that. Like the video, subscribe for the 5 for 5, and we will thank you once again. I really, really appreciate you, Echo Yugioh, for coming on the show. And we will see you,
Thank you so much,
next
man.
time. And as always, peace.
See you guys.